Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with veteran jazz saxophonist Greg Abate. We caught up with him in the middle of May 2020 during the COVID-19 quarantine to discuss what has been going on, how he knew music was going to stop live, and what he's been doing, and the hope for the future. Enjoy.
Greg, how are you, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just sitting outside under a tree.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay? I can get off speakerphone.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. You're fine. Yeah, you're perfect.
Hey, how are you, Joe? Huh?
Oh, man, it's a weird dream we're in.
Yeah,
that's all I can.
Can't. Yeah, it's like I'm getting used to the solitude and being with myself, with my music. Like, you know, I can do as much as I want all day, and I don't do it enough, but I'm sort of spaced out. I just sit outside sometimes and listen to the birds, and then just been writing, and, you know, I had a session planned with Kenny Barron Trio, you might know, at the end of the month, and it's on hold because of the virus, you know, in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's really, the best word I can come up with is staggering, the amount of shows that just one musician has had to let go of during this.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine all the musicians that lost gigs, huh?
Oh, man. Yeah, well,
you play?
No,
okay,
I don't. I just spin it. I'm a fan, but I mean, I follow Kansas City enough and see enough shows that it's just, even here in Kansas City with kind of the renaissance we were going through, it's unbelievable, unprecedented the amount of gigs that have been canceled.
Yes, I share that sentiment of sadness with that. Luckily I've got a gig Friday night, but it's on Zoom through a restaurant, Providence, that's doing, they have a sponsor that promote artists all over the world, and talking about the life of the artist, playing some things solo and talking, answering questions.
Oh, cool.
And so I've got that. It's on Zoom on Friday. When I find out, I'll send you the what is it, invitation number or something?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, this virtual thing is kind of keeping everybody kind of plugged in, so I guess that's a good thing. Well, you know, and the good thing is you're out listening to the birds. There's a part of this where people are finding some solace and solitude in this, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, just be sure to stay healthy during it. You know, I mean, I've been home a lot, but I go out, you know, the post office when there's one or two people in line and wait with masks. I got my oil changed today in my car. You know, I stayed outside, and you know, stuff like that. It's a different way of life, Joe. Right? I mean, you know,
yeah.
You're doing the same thing. I'm so honored that you called me. I mean, I feel great that my career has brought me to so many people in my music, you know, and I'm thinking also hanging out like this with the time off, it's more severely impacted my feeling about what I do with my instruments. And like when I started playing instruments, and now I see them as something that I've used all my life, and now I can't use them that way, and they mean still the same. I still love them, but now it's a different thing. You know what I mean? It's like a whole different vibe, you know? And,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You realize the power of a lot of things that, you know, we all go so fast, we're running and we're doing, and now we have this moment of just kind of taking our breath, and we understand, what we have to realize is we're not in control. We just aren't in control.
Never, not as human beings, but we take control until control takes over what we think we control. You know, It's like, you know, going out. But like yourself, I feel you're the same, like with compassion and love because of music and people. And you do hurt for people, but you can't help everybody. You know, it's not our job. It's like the government, if there is one, to help people, right? I mean, in this kind of thing. And they're trying, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think there's some wealth to be distributed or monies to be put out there. But, yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, so like me with the COVID, if I don't give it any I can't even think of the words anymore, praise or like what do you call it when you validate it, like to write a tune about it. Like people are writing tunes about the COVID, and I think that's, why give that any dignity? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, when 9/11 happened, I was in a doctor's office, and I was shocked. I thought it was just a film, you know. And but I was teaching at the college where I teach at, and I went back there early, and I started writing tunes, and I have a lot of those tunes that I wrote about 9/11 on my CD Evolution with Billy Hart and James Williams and Harvey Schwartz at the time. But I wrote about that because that really affected me. But this, I don't know why I don't think that I want to do anything about the COVID, you know, except hopefully it goes away. I don't know, maybe because it affects me as well. But then I said, man, all those people, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out, but I'm using it.
It's almost like not paying credence to a villain, you know. It's just, I get you. I totally do.
I get you. Yeah, and I'm using that time, like today, I finished writing 3 new compositions because I've been inspired, and I go down to my piano, and I'm playing all my horns here and there. My flute is like, you know, I just had it repaired again, and it's playing like wonderfully. And my altos are both singing, and my tenor and baritone and soprano, they're all there. And I was going to use all those instruments on my recording with Kenny Barron Trio, and I had worked on 14 tunes of Kenny's. I'm sort of like doing some Greg Abate inflections in his tunes, and he says I have total liberty with what I want to do. And I said, man, I'm trying to do justice to your beautiful tunes. And he says, man, I'm sure it'll be okay. We'll get to rehearsal, and we can all decide if we want to change something. You know, so it's been really fun. I've done 14 tunes like that, and I spent hours in the last 2 months, like many, 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 many hours. And then I finished that. And then 2 days ago, I found out that the session is going to be postponed. And now I got so bummed out, I started writing my own music. I said, well, let me write some music of my own for my next recording. You know, I'll start ahead of time so I can, like, feel like a real composer and, like, not rush things. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm doing now, and that's about it.
You know, kind of like 9/11 when we all saw that plane go in the second tower. When did you realize that this COVID-19 was taking hold? What gigs were canceled? When did you start seeing the massive domino fall?
Okay, well, I went on the road on March 5th, and I went to Ohio where I did a gig in Yellow Springs. I went to Central State University. I went to Columbus. I went to Cincinnati, and I did two other gigs in Ohio. Then it was a really big tour for me. And then I went to Lexington, Kentucky, and did a thing with the Lexington, the University of Lexington jazz band, and did a workshop and talked to the people. Then I went to my hotel, and I was supposed to fly to California the next day to go play for the Palo Alto Jazz Society and Sahara Jazz Club in San Carlos, the California Conservatory of Music, and also the San Francisco School of Art, and then the Palo Alto Jazz Society, which I had my tickets booked. So I had to come home. I had to cancel. I lost all those gigs, and that was when I realized that now I'm home. Okay, and people were calling me up canceling gigs in May in Texas. I had a jazz festival out there May 8th. They canceled that on March 13th. So then that's when it started hitting me, about March 13th, actually. You know, I thought things would roll over in the next week or two, but no, people are canceling. June, my whole, I had 23 gigs booked in July in England, and I go there every year in July and November since 2002. I've made a lot of fans over there, and like that tour is gone, and they rebooked me for next July, so I was able to push the date one day back, make it at the same time frame during the week. And I've got November booked there now too, but that's questionable. So right now, it's all questionable to me. And going back to Rhode Island College in the fall to teach properly, like in a classroom with several musicians in one room, it sounds unlikely at this point, you know. So
yeah,
so
I think I think that's the weird thing about all this is we just don't know. We're 2 months into this and we still don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm stunned. I can't project something. I like to project that it'll be okay. I don't know. Soon.
Well, I guess this is the thing that I want to know from you as a musician. When we do get back, let's think about a happier time when we do actually return to music and everything's cool. What do you hope both the musician and the audience member realizes about this time away from live jazz?
I think it's going to bring a more importance and more value to the people, not only for the clubs monetarily, and the musicians, but to know what a wonderful, wonderful thing we do and play, and we can express ourselves through our instruments that probably all of us picked up as a young child, and not even knowing what it would encompass us as our lives. And we, going on the bandstand and taking it like for granted, if you will. I always go up to play 120%, but I think the people are also going to be saying, "Man, we're so glad to be able to hear live music," and I think it's going to be a clash, like when two atoms hit each other and they explode and they form some other thing. I think that's what's going to happen.
I think it's going to be Magnanimous. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. You know what I've been thinking though? The thing about jazz is that, and I've learned this from you cats talking all these years with you, and it seems simple, but it's actually profound. Everything we see on this planet is going to happen once. And you guys mimic that on stage. You are practitioners of true improv, and what we're living through right now, from an artist standpoint, is true improv. And I think jazz musicians are probably some of the best equipped artists to capture the essence of what this is.
Oh, that's really awesome. I never thought of that, but I can relate to what you said. I guess because I'm an artist, I'm a musician. I'm improvising. My life, I always tell people my life's an improvisation. But I try not to play the same licks twice because it's not really jazz, but you can use the notes in a different format. And I'm sort of like using that now with life, like deflecting bad thoughts and like trying to get around it somehow, like sort of like a mental karate where you try to deflect and go on and not disturb anybody else, or offend anything, but you can embrace what's happening in the moment, because that's what it is. You have to realize that. And jazz is in the moment to me. Like, if I make a mistake, it's like there. It's gone now. You know what I mean? It's like, comes, you learn from the mistake. Anyway, anything you do like that, you learn from it. So I hope that I explained what my feelings on that to you, Joe. I don't know if I did.
Yeah, you totally did. And
wow.
and I think that's the thing that what I also hope too is that we've got all of these sayings about first responders, and I get it, nurses and truck drivers and sanitation workers and all these people and teachers, but I really believe that musicians and artists are first responders. If we didn't have music, can you imagine how bad this would be?
Yeah, I think so. We can relate to that, but people that don't, like people, even if it was a good time right now, some people ask me, well, what do you do for a living? My husband plays saxophone too, but what do you do for a living? I said, well, I play saxophone. I'm a professional jazz player. And they said, jazz? What do you mean? I said, or say post bebop. I said, what's that? I said, well, it's like, say like Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie. Have you heard of them? No. Okay, well, I don't think I can explain anything to you. But yeah, like your husband plays as a hobby, but I actually am one with my saxophone, and it's my voice to make a living with, which is sounds contradicting, but they don't get it.
I run into that a lot, and I thought that was a thing that was kind of to Kansas City, because I'll have a lot of people, whether I'm at a practice for my son's sport or something like that, and they'll find out that I have a jazz show. They're like, oh, yeah, I love jazz. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we do modern cats, we do the older cats, Miles, Coltrane, all that, and they're just kind of like, yeah, I listen to smooth jazz all the time. It's like they glossed over and they submit smooth jazz is what I'm talking about. And I'm like, I don't want to
No.
knock anything, but it's like I try, since I've gotten this show, you know, I've been pretty brutal with smooth jazz throughout my life, but I've tried to be gentle with people, and I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not what we're talking about at all.
Correct, and I get that too. I really do, like, because smooth jazz is what people are. That's a term that is used for music that's not the music that I play, or a lot of musicians that I know that play. You know, it's real deep. Yeah, I must say, it's just so, it's awesome to be able to do this, and that's one thing I'm trying to look now. I'm practicing at home, and I'm a beginner, man. I'm freaking beginning on stuff, you know, and it's like I'm saying it's good and bad. I know that I'm beginning, but I also know that I'm at a level where I'm still producing melodies and music that people are hearing on my recordings, and it seems like I'm accepted pretty well, so I must be doing something good, so let me take it in stride here. To do one thing at a time, you know, so that's how this is also affecting me that way. And also, I haven't played in front of people for since March 12th, and I'm feeling as though it's not an ego thing that makes me want to do it, because I don't miss it that way. I miss it that I can actually play my music and be in the zone when I play like I do, and I'm making people feel good, you know, like they like it. And sometimes I say, you like that? Wow, I thought I played a little shaky there, you know. And they say, no, man, it was cool. So like whatever the criticism is, you take it with a grain of salt anyway. But I just realized that it's not an ego thing that makes me go on the bandstand. I'm making a living, but then that's a conflict too. Making a living with art, you think, well, is this real? It is real, but you know what I mean, Joe? It's like that.
I do. I totally do. Yeah.
I like people to like what I'm doing. I like that. You know.
Yeah. And we do, and that's the thing that's so wonderful about what you do. I guess my point in saying how vital you guys are is like people that are really vital to civilization is that, you know, getting paid and getting recognized for it and all of that. And I think that at the end of the day, people have to inherently understand that if they didn't have Netflix, a radio station, a TV with entertainment, it would be bad. And I think that's what people need to realize and recognize. And I think musicians, because jazz musicians aren't in this for the money. This is not a music that you enter because you want to make a lot of money. This is something you do because you feel it inside.
Yes, and actually, Joe, it does that. But sometimes, you know, a lot of money to a musician is not a lot of money to a millionaire. But I mean, sometimes we get paid pretty well to do something, and it helps our lifestyle to be in that middle class section or upper middle class where you can have good things playing jazz. And like, you know, I'm sure Chick Corea's well off. You know, I mean, not to compare me to him, but I mean, I'm sure he or Wayne Shorter, they put a lot of dues. They became famous worldwide. But I'm sure that they're still making lots of money, but they play all the time. And I just think, I'm imagining, okay, we'll do the gig. I don't even know where the money goes. It's going in some account, but I need $50 this week, you know? That's what I need, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
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 Money's
totally
elusive, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It really is. And I think during this time, it's all relative. You know, everything's really relative, and it's a time to be thankful for a lot of the things I think you do have in your life.
Yeah, and I'm 73 this month, man, and I feel like, where did the time go? How much time do I have left? Man, it's freaking, that's one thing I talked to my therapist about because it bothers me. And he says, oh, well, that's the way it is. You just have to accept it. I said, I don't. I said, why does the tree live so long and people don't live as long as the tree? Why should we die and have the tree be there for like 200 years? Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, but they don't know how to answer me. I don't know how to answer myself, but I just, yeah, I'm telling you, I just opening up on how I feel about it.
Yeah.
This thing here has made me think about that even more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild, man. You're right. You're totally right. And I don't know that any professional, health professional is going to be able to understand or wrap their head around how long we're here and how you have to just, you know, you have a shelf life, man, and it's gone after that. And it's unfortunate, but you know, the music always lives on. We always celebrate, and that's the thing I think that's good about artists is that we do have things that the rest of humanity, as long as it goes on, will be able to enjoy.
Well, let me ask you this. My friend Richie Cole passed away on May 2nd, right? Our friend.
Oh man, that hurt. That hurt me.
Yeah.
When I read that, it hurt hard.
Yeah, me too. Because I have a friendship with him. Staying in the same hotel, staying at my house, playing gigs all over the country together, recording.
Yeah.
And Phil was the same. But I was wondering if you have recordings of me with Richie and recordings with Phil, with me.
I don't know that I do. I mean, I have, I got a subscription to Apple Music, but I don't know. I would know. I don't think I do, and I would love to put it on the show.
Then I was going to send you Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Me and Richie Cole recorded 1994 live, and then I'm going to send you live double recording with Phil Woods and me, and then an album I did with Phil Woods in the studio.
Yeah, I would love it.
Hey, man, I would appreciate that if you could give that some airtime on your show.
Oh yeah, I'd be honored to. I actually did a big segment on Richie last week, and he was one of those guys. The minute I started talking to him on the phone, that was a real down-home cat, man. He was so gracious, so real. Like I said, I didn't know him like you did, but when I read that he was gone, it just hurt. It hit me in a way like it was a family member. I was like, wow, that took the air out of me.
Yeah, a lot of people are feeling that about Richie. Yeah, he was great.
Man.
Playing and he died in his sleep.
Wow.
It bums me out. I'm just like looking at a plant right now, thinking about it. Thanks, Joe. Take care.
You too, man.
Bye.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Boston, New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Greg for his time, music, and friendship. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.